Welcome to the Road Hunter podcast. We are out here in nature. And did we have a good drive? Right now we're sitting on a cloud. Or is a cloud sitting on us? I think a cloud is sitting on us.
Yeah.
But we drove through the cloud. We found this really cool clear cut. But on our way in, what did we see, Eli?
We saw 2 bucks with nubs, possibly 3 bucks with nubs. We saw a bunch of does together with the bucks. And then we saw another group of does with babies.
Yeah, we saw a lot of deer tonight.
Yeah.
All in one little spot. It was pretty cool. So, that's exciting. So what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about 1, you in a tree.
Yeah.
2, camouflage and how to keep yourself camouflaged and concealment with
We're going to talk about
bullets.
concealment.
Yeah.
Not necessarily camouflage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's same thing.
Sort of. Concealment is hiding. Camouflage is what's going to break up your silhouette against things.
Yeah.
So we'll have another one down the road on camouflage. But the reason why we want to talk about concealment is because we got interested in saddle hunting.
Yes.
And I don't know if you notice, I'm a large human being. Don't laugh. This is facts. Facts are not attacks.
Except they are attacks.
But I am a huge human being. And I've learned in my younger life that gravity and large people, we don't get along. And so climbing trees is terrifying, for one. So we actually didn't get very far off the ground. Why didn't we get very far off the ground?
Because you haven't done it yet.
Well, yeah, but it was because we didn't do our research before.
That
and
too.
I had that whole rappelling thing all messed up.
Yeah.
That was exciting. But you're going to see a video, not in this podcast, but of me climbing a tree. So we're going to release this one where we talk about it. And then I'm going to release the other one, hopefully about the same time, where I'm actually doing it. It's pretty funny. You should watch it. I'll try to link it in the description probably. Oh, what do you see? He's getting all, I think I see something. Anyway, we're hoping that the deer that we saw on the other side of the hill cross this little ravine right in front of us. That'd be fun. So, saddle hunting. It's kind of expensive to get into.
There might be a deer.
Cool.
Yeah. And it is. It's kind of expensive.
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
The saddles are a couple $100. The platforms are a couple $100. The sticks are likely a couple $100. So all in, like, if you're gonna go top of the line, don't fall out of a tree. You're in a, $500 to $800. I'm thinking. Does that sound about accurate?
Yeah. About that.
Well, we didn't do that. We went to Amazon and bought a bunch of cheap stuff. So we bought harnesses that were not necessarily saddles, but I went on there and figured, hey, if I'm going to climb a tree, I might as well get something that's rated for a large human. So I think mine's rated at over 500 pounds. I got the rope that's rated at, I think they do kelvins or something.
Kelvins?
Yeah, it's like 25,000 kelvins. I don't know what that, I mean, it's just basically how much pressure it takes to break the rope. So it's a pretty sturdy rope.
Man, Kelvin must be a pretty heavy dude.
Not Kevin, Kelvin. All right. And then did a lot of research on how to rappel. We tried to rappel down this really not so great incline. That was pretty easy.
Yeah.
We used a figure 8.
That's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah. Problem with the figure 8 is with me being so big, any pressure on that dude, and I am 100 miles an hour to the ground. I'm not a physicist, so that's an exaggeration, but I'm going to go fast, and then I'm going to stop fast. And then something's going to break. So, harness, rope, the thing that's going to allow me to descend, so a descender, which is the figure 8, and then I have this little Prusik rope that's going to hold me in the tree through a friction hitch, which works out really well when it works. When I get the figure 8 piece right. Are you seeing anything over there?
I thought I saw an elk.
I thought I saw an elk. See, we do this all the time. Look, oh nope, stump.
Yeah,
Stump elk, stump deer.
But what's the ratio of me seeing them versus you seeing them?
Oh yeah, so before we got here, the reason why we saw the deer that we saw is because he saw them.
That's right.
He stopped for me to pee, and I was getting out of the car, and he's like, "Wait, deer!" And I'm just like, "Whatever." And then I look, I'm like, "Whoa, an actual deer! It wasn't a stump."
Yeah.
Yeah, so it worked out. It was like his 1%. He was right.
No. That's not the ratio.
It's pretty close. Anyway, back to saddle hunting. For me, I got everything rated. I tried to hit that like 4 to 500 pound range, right? That way, even if I do a little hoppy hop, like I'm not going to feel like I'm going to die. So harness, rope, ascender, descender, which is my Prusik knot.
Yes.
Right? And then I got some sticks that are made of metal, not aluminum. They're sturdy. And then I got a nice steel platform.
Yes.
That all of those are rated to 400 plus pounds. And I think when I was standing on them, like eventually I did feel safe, but I'm not going to be like you where I can go up there and like dance around on that platform.
Yeah.
I kind of got to get up there and stay.
Actually, to be honest, the platform felt more safe than the equipment we were using.
Well, not for me. As soon as I got to the edge, that thing felt like it was going to buckle.
Yeah.
So I got to keep myself kind of close to the tree.
Now, when we went to that ropes course, I think our sketchy system was way better than their system.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So you can buy all of the equipment to saddle hunt if you are a large person.
Yes.
Would I recommend it? Not unless you give yourself a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Like you really do need to practice. You're not going to take the equipment that we bought for this adventure and hike it through the woods. That pack was 35, 40 pounds.
Yep.
I mean, that equipment is heavy because it's not aluminum, it's steel.
Yep.
So these are really, like, you're going to go from the truck to a tree and you're either going to mount it there for a while or you're really close to the truck. You're going to walk it a few hundred yards, get yourself up in a tree, and be able to you're going to take a couple trips if you do get an animal. Yeah. So, but for concealment, what I thought was cool is even though we were off the ground just a little bit, if you can get up off the ground and get a better perspective, man, you can see a lot more.
Yeah.
You can absolutely see a lot more. And my guess is from a deer's perspective, they're not looking for big fat guys in a tree.
No.
So I might actually have more concealment just by the...
They're looking for big fat guys in a truck.
Yeah, exactly. They're laughing at us, right? Like, haha, sucker, I see you. Right. So, recommend it? No. Was it fun?
Yes.
Yes. If you're going to do it, so I'm going to flat say you shouldn't do it. I have no liability if you fall out of a tree.
Well,
Don't come back to me and be like, Brad from Field Outdoors said fat guys can get in a tree. I totally don't agree with that. But if you give yourself some practice, some time, climb the thing up and down, make sure that it's safe for you, you could probably do it. It's scary.
Doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in our saddle hunting adventure, Eli's probably going to be our saddle hunter. And I'm going to sit in another form of concealment.
Until you lose weight to do it with me.
Yeah. I need to lose the poundage.
Yeah.
All right. So what are those other forms of concealment? What do we use right now?
The car.
The car and distance, right?
Yeah.
Like we're trying to, I think our biggest form of concealment that we use is the wind.
Yeah.
We're always checking what's the wind direction on anywhere we're heading in.
Yep.
To make sure if we're going to sit there that we're not we're not blowing that out right away. Just getting our scent down into there.
Yep.
I think, bar none, wind direction is the best form of concealment.
Right. And there's no amount of scent blocker in the world that's going to get rid of your scent.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't work.
So, no matter how well you conceal yourself, if your wind is at your back blowing down into your clear cut, you're toast.
Yep.
Yep. You might as well wrap it up and go home. Cool.
Or
All
go
right.
to a different spot.
Outside of that, for us, distance, I think, is our number 2.
Yeah.
So I think this last season, we got our doe at 320 yards.
No.
Yeah, it was 320.
I thought you shot that thing at 500.
No, it was 320.
Oh.
It was the elk we got right under 500.
That's right.
And then we got your buck at 400 yards.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're looking at a little bit of distance. We don't want to take an unethical shot, right? So we're not looking for 1,000-yard shots or even 600-700-yard shots. But what I do like to do is sit on one side of a clear cut.
Yeah.
And then glass across to the other. Glass all the ravines.
Yeah.
All the little basins and bottoms. And I'm really looking at the transition areas. And usually we're not trying to get up in those transition areas. We're trying to get a good view of them and the ability to have a shot at those.
Yeah.
And we spend the time in practice our shooting. So if we are going to take a 400 or 500-yard shot, we're pretty confident that we're going to be able to get it done.
And we have really cool scopes
Yeah.
that help us get it done.
Yeah. So we're going to we have economical scopes, but they are dial-up scopes, and we practice a lot with our long-range 22 to really get our dial-ups down so we can understand how those ballistics work. And then we spend some more time on our long-range rifles, our heavier kicking guns, ones that are going to get out there a little bit. Because even though, long-range 22 and you're out at 200 yards,
Yeah.
like that's still not a 500-yard shot.
Right.
That 500-yard shot is going to look different in your scope because
Right.
everything's going to be smaller and squintier and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But I'd say those are 2. Concealment, because the deer's not going to see us 400 yards away, even if we move a little bit. It's not going to spook them too much.
Right. I mean, we stood in front of those one deer for like an hour moving around, jumping up and down, and
Yeah.
they
didn't care.
No.
So, other concealment, I would say, is your backdrop. So if you're sitting next to some trees, not standing between the trees, but standing in front of a tree. Right?
Yeah.
So, or if you have a clear cut and you have some reprod behind you, maybe like tucking yourself back into that reprod a little bit. That way your silhouette with your camo and that backdrop is really going to help conceal you.
Yeah.
We've been toying with the idea of having a little pop-up blind. We went as far as buying one.
We just haven't used it.
We haven't used it yet.
Yeah.
But really it's because the distance and the wind has done so well for us.
Yeah.
This kid, this is what he'll go out in.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like the blue of the blue jeans and the blue of this checkered flannel shirt, but he'll go deer hunting in this, and he's just like a neon sign at the top or sitting wherever he's sitting. But
yeah, but how many deer have we killed?
yeah, a fair amount.
Yeah.
So
if you play the wind the right way,
yeah,
and you sneak up on him, it don't really matter. You're still gonna kill him.
yeah. And I think we do a good job of like getting in a little bit early, letting things calm down, really giving those glassing sessions some time.
Yeah.
So we're not just going to go in and sit and park and glass an area for 5 or 10 minutes and then leave.
Yeah.
We're really going to find us a place to park for a minute. If we're kind of in the middle of the clear cut like we are now, like we've got a little hump in front of us, we would want to sit on the front side of that hump.
Right.
so our silhouette isn't just popping out over the top. And then hopefully have not a blue shirt on.
I don't normally wear the blue shirt.
Yeah, that's true.
Normally it's white and red
That's true.
or green and brown.
Yeah. What other concealments can we think of? We've never really done the face paintings.
No, but that would be fun.
Yeah, we could get into the Rambo-ness of this whole thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff online. Blind, I mean, we just don't hunt where we can just set up a blind.
Right.
So I guess it does depend on where you hunt. So if you're hunting whitetails and you're trying to find those funnels and set yourself up in front of their path,
Yeah.
or you're a bow hunter, because we're not bow hunters.
Right.
We're obviously road hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just not. We're not sneaking up on deer.
Yeah.
We're trying to see them kind of far off and then position ourselves to them. So we really prescribe to the glass a lot of land, find out where they are, and then can we move ourselves within range to get a good ethical shot.
Right.
Yeah.
For our rifles.
Yeah, for our rifles.
Because Wyatt's rifle is different.
Yeah, his can go a ways. It's a difference between 6.5 Creedmoor and a 300 Win Mag, right?
Yeah.
Mine's just not gonna have that
Yeah.
ballistics at 1,000 yards. I wouldn't want to take that shot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what else we got? It's raining right now.
Yeah.
It's that time of year, though. So you and your buddy went out scouting. We're going to have a scouting video coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah.
And where Eli breaks down a clear cut on what you're looking for and kind of where you're going to glass. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think we're going to do a few more of those.
Yeah. Because there's a handful of different areas that are good, but
Yeah.
they don't look the same.
I think if we get a good number of clear cuts, like different styles where we can kind of point out
Yeah.
where potential travel areas would be.
Yeah. Like this one right here, I guarantee they're running right through that ravine right there.
Yeah.
Right where we can't see them.
Right where you can't see them.
Or they're on the backside of that slope running down that ravine.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're not going to be right out there in the middle where you can see them and shoot them.
The funny thing is where we're sitting to our right, my right, your left, so this way, there's a little mound to our right. And the ones we bumped earlier are probably moving through that reprod to our right.
Yep.
And then they could potentially just be on the other side of this mound, and we'd never know.
Yeah.
We've run into that quite often.
Because, I mean, that's what happened on the opening day is
Yeah.
Jacob and his dad walked around that other way. And sure enough, there was a cougar
Yeah.
sitting right next to him.
So getting out of the woods is fun. It's really give yourself some time. Stop just driving around. Get yourself a little bit of concealment. And that, I mean, I wanted to give some alternative concealments, right? I mean, as far as face paintings and pop-up blinds, and now it depends on where you're hunting.
Right.
Like if we're gonna go duck hunting, like we absolutely got to bling a blind. We got to
Yeah.
build it up, get ourselves really concealed. But while we're out here and we're thinking elk and we're thinking deer, bear,
Right.
like any of that, we're really, our advantage is distance and wind.
And covering a lot of ground.
Yeah, and covering some ground, but not quickly.
Right.
I mean, I would say October, the plan would be find yourself, I don't know, 10 clear cuts and then sit on them.
Right.
Don't just drive the 10 clear cuts and see if you see.
Yeah.
Like one day sit, like even into like before October, we're talking July, August,
Yeah.
go to the clear cut, sit.
If you see a deer, stay at that clear cut.
Yeah, don't go to the other ones if you know there's deer there.
If there's no deer there, you move on.
Our plan this year was we saw a deer last season that we wanted to hunt.
Right.
We went in prior to,
Yep.
and we scouted a little bit, confirmed that deer was still there.
Mm.
We saw him running up that ridge, and we're like, that deer,
Yeah.
that's our plan. We're gonna go hunt this deer on opening day. And then we let that place sit all summer long and didn't even touch it.
Yep. And then we came back in September.
No, we never sat on that one though. That was our plan, but we never touched it.
Oh.
We sat on other clear cuts. And then opening day, things played out perfectly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we walked right. I mean, we got into the position that we had scouted.
Yep.
We sat up and we waited. We were there before light. And we knew that he was either going to come up the ravine from the right,
Yep.
or they were going to come around from the left and up the ravine the other way. And you and your buddy Jacob went right.
That's right.
And I sat watching left, and they ended up coming up left. So, yeah. So that's really, I mean, and we were 300 yards away. Those deer didn't even have a clue we were there.
Yeah.
Wind was in our face. Distance was in our favor.
And all those trucks down below pushed them up that one direction. Yep.
It worked out. It worked out exactly like we planned it, and we probably couldn't do it again if we tried.
Probably not. And we can't seem to get it right with Goliath.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Gosh.
I wonder how many people name their big deer Goliath.
Probably a lot.
I mean, we've been hunting that deer for 5 years.
Yeah, and we've missed him 3 times.
Yes. So, yeah.
This year he went down to a fork, but he was a really
Big
fork.
Yeah.
Last year he was a 3x2. And then, or the year before last year. This last year he was a fork because we saw him on almost the very last day.
Yep.
We need to kill him.
We do. Hopefully, or I mean, he's gonna die eventually.
Right.
I mean, if we've been hunting him for 5 years and he was that big when we started.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an old buck. Yeah. So, we won't belabor this podcast, but we're out here in March.
Yeah.
They should have already knocked off some antlers. The bucks we saw earlier kind of looked like they had little nubbies, so
Yeah.
they either had just knocked them off and you could still kind of see the little open patched area, or
They're already starting to grow back.
Yeah, they're already starting.
Which means those bucks are big.
Yeah, they're gonna grow. That one body on that one was,
dude.
He was giant.
Yeah, his neck was all.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say find land that you can go out and sit on and just study that topography. What we've seen is deer are going to move where you can't see them.
Yeah.
So if you're going to park on the road and look down, there's going to be some pockets in there. Like I just look right out in front of us, right? Like you said, there's a ravine right out in front of us, and right on the edge of that ravine on the inside, there's probably a nice deer trail leading down to the water to our left.
Yep.
We know they travel around this knob to our right because we've seen them. There's some bushes right next to the road that makes it hard to see.
Right.
And so they travel right in that little groove along, and then they pitch up over and then come right down this in front of us.
Yep.
So we're like, you just got to look, and if you were a deer, how would you move to not be seen? And that's probably where you're going to want a glass. Spend your time. Because what we normally do is when we sit, we'll identify those spots where we think they're going to move. And then Eli will pick one of them and just like watch the ridge or just keep scanning the side of it. And then I'll take the other one, and eventually you're going to catch a tail flick or you're going to catch a little bit of movement. And it's like they're ghosts. Like you're looking at it and you can't see anything. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's a deer.
Yep.
So it does. I mean, they're hard to spot, but you can do it. You can do it if you just think about your clear cuts and pick them apart into travel corridors. Like, how are they going to move through this to stay concealed?
Right.
I think it's an important question.
Very rarely are they right out in the middle.
Oh, yeah. Even that one clear cut that the Goliath sits on,
Yep.
he's never just like chilling out in the middle. He's always in one of those cuts. Even when the does are kind of out on top of that little knob,
Right.
like he'll be tucked over like in a set of trees or like down on the side.
Right.
Or he'll be sitting on that one little flat spot, right? Like it's like he's good. And obviously there's a reason why he's as old as he is. He's just good. And then he's also as old as he is because we're terrible shots.
Yeah. I also think I don't know if he's like good or if he's just lucky because there's that other big buck in there that's been around just as long as he has.
Yeah, that's true.
And
I think the Goliath dude's good though because he's
the one that he just sits out in the middle.
All right. Well, get out, find yourself some land, and in the comments, let us know what you look for in your clear cuts. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you glassing for? How do you keep yourself concealed? This is the Road Hunter podcast. The answer to this is not I sit in my truck and they don't see me, right? Like your truck is not concealment.
Yeah.
Obviously, you should be parking your truck away from where you're sitting and walk in just a wee bit. Just a wee bit will even help you out.
Yeah.
All right, well.
And if you're not driving a Dodge.
Yeah. What'd you do today?
I roasted coffee.
Roasted coffee. On our website, we've got 3 roast types.
Yeah.
Right? So check those out. We've got the Lost Hiker, the Road Hunter, and Zero Dark 30. All very yummy.
Very yummy.
Very, very yummy. Again, unfortunately, we can't ship outside of Oregon, so that's kind of a bummer. But if you are in Oregon, which hopefully you are because you're watching this, try to pick up some coffee because it's super good. Some of the best coffee I've drank, and I love coffee.
Yeah.
All right. Head on over to failedoutdoors.com, scope out our coffee, and head out to our YouTube channel, subscribe, like, do all the things, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.